Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Imagine Slagharen. Now, in the last few episodes you saw me working on this car ride that's all the way over here. And for the third assignment, we actually have to recreate a ride called Apollo 14. Now, what is Apollo 14? I have some pictures which I will show you now. So here you can see the ride which is called Apollo 14. So as you can see, it's a big structure here, kind of brown gold colored, with a huge rotating ball in the middle, or a planet with some craters and stuff on it. And on this ring that rotates around it, there's a lot of chair swing chairs. So as it starts rotating, the guests will swing outwards. They will complete a few laps before the ride stops again. Now, I think this is a very unique ride. I believe only 2 of these have been built. They were both in the park Slagharen at some point. One of them was a bit of a different type. It had some pods that would travel up and down, I believe, along this ring. But later, I think it was also converted to a chair swing and then moved to a different park. I don't know if I got the history completely correct, but I do know it's now somewhere in a park in England. So let's take a look at the other pictures. So here you can see a bit of a close-up of the chairs. It used to have 60 chairs, but now it has only 30. For this recreation I will just see how many I can fit on it in a decent looking way. I'm not going to stick to the amount of chairs that this one has. I just want to have the number of chairs that will look good on the ride. So here you can see it from another angle. You can clearly see the rocks that are under it right now. Slagharen loves to barricade off areas with rocks. Now here you can see the location of the ride. It's clearly visible from Google Maps. So here we have the entrance that we have already built and the mine train. Right next to the mine train is the log flume of the park. And from our entrance, if we go, let's say here's our mine train. So if we go 1 mine train to the right, then 2 mine trains to the right, then here is the ride known as Apollo 14. And right next to it is the monorail station. And right behind that is some other rides like the Enterprise and some other stuff behind it as well. Also right next to Apollo 14 is the chairlift station. So I think we can already also make a start on that. But I started a little bit later on this on this contest than I did with the other ride. So I only have a day to complete it. Tomorrow at the end of the day we have to submit our entries. So it might be a little bit tricky. So I'm just going to focus on the ride itself. There you can see another shot of the ride in the current situation with 30 chairs. And I think that those were already pictures. And here you can see the chairlift station. It's on ground level here, right next to Apollo. So, let's just see how we're going to place this. So here we have the entrance. Here we have this the mine train. So if we then go 1 mine train to the right, then it would be located. Let's see, somewhere over here, I guess. And we also have the chairlift station here. Now I'm just going to close it and move this to ground level, because that's also where the real chairlift station is. Now I might run out of space here because there's some other rides here as well in the real park. So I think I'm just going to move Apollo 14 a little bit closer to the mine train than it actually is. I'll just compress the park a little bit. Now I'll probably also need some extra handymen because the guests are leaving quite a mess. Now, editing the track probably also removed the entrance and exit from this side, so I'll have to replace them here. I just hope I can still find the location where they were supposed to be. Might be a little bit difficult with all these invisible paths here. Alright, I hope I don't have to touch that track anymore, because it's quite annoying to replace those. Okay, now it's time for me to start planning out where I'm actually going to build the ride in this area here. I think this will be a nice area. I'm just going to look at the images again, just to see how well it would fit here. Alright, I think this will be the perfect location for it. Alright, now you may be wondering how I'm actually going to build this ride. Now, actually, I have some good scenery for it. So let's go to our object selection. Now, a user named FruityMax, he actually made a 3D model of the planet part of this ride. So let me see if I can find it. There it is. Yeah, I need to deselect some large scenery that we're already using, and then I can select this one. Alright, here it is. You can see I turned it into a 4x4 tile object. So yeah, what I did was I just took the rendering that FruityMax generated, and I just used the object editor and turned it into a 4x4 tile object. It's really not rocket science. Now, it does look the same from every angle, but I think that's okay in the end. Now, one thing that does bother me is that because I edited the palette in this map, it has a weird yellowish tint here. And I really want to get rid of that. It will not look nice in this round. So that's why I'm going to switch back to the normal palette again for this round. I think the normal grass also looks better than the grass we have here with the yellowish stuff on it. So let's... I need to turn on the correct filter. Let's go back to natural water. Alright, I think that looks refreshing. But sadly, that does turn our mine train into a purple tint again. So yeah, I will have to change it, the palette to only use the brown, but not this tint of greenish yellow that we used to have. But yeah, that'll be something for later. Right now, I just want to make a start on this Apollo 14 ride. So this part should be a little bit off the ground. So yeah, just enough for us to fit some kind of structure under it, which will rotate. Well, it won't actually rotate in our map, of course. But we should at least get the idea that it can rotate. It does seem a little bit glitchy when we move around it, but not much we can do about that, I think. Also, I may get a new version of this object tomorrow, but I'll have to see. This one also has a flat top. Yeah, I might still get a version of this object which has a round top, but we will see in the end. Okay, what's my plan for this object? Now, what I now want to do is, of course, the real ride has a ring around it. So for that ring, I will simply use a mini suspended coaster track. Alright, with the gold color, I think it looks pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do to make the chairs is I will shoestring a ride that goes under it. And I actually got a custom vehicle for this. Let me see if I can find it. Alright, I'm just going to take a look and see how this actually looks when we put it here. So it's a car ride, so that probably means we'll have to manually split it when we do the shoestringing, but that'll be something for a later concern. Right now I just want to see how it looks. Okay, it looks like there's an issue with this train. That's because it will only draw 40 of these seats, and that's not enough to fill this entire ring. So I think I will just get rid of this object, and I will just use the suspended swinging coaster. Okay, my problem may have been that I didn't make the station long enough, so I'm just going to check and see if that helps. Alright, this looks like the correct length for the train. Now you could see it stopped, but the front car will actually be underground, and that's the only car that can detect collision with another part of the train. So yeah, that should not be an issue when we shoestring it. Okay, I will just move the station a little bit so the guests will enter right here, and then I will set up a shoestring track. I'll probably have to do the shoestringing manually with the tile inspector. So what I will do is I will wait for the front car to pass, and then with the tile inspector I'll change the tile order so that the rest of the train will be guided on this track, and the front car will be going around on a track that's underground. So let's see if we can make that work. And I will definitely also need a newer version of this object. Well, I will have to create a version that doesn't glitch so much on the top, because it bothers me quite a bit. Now, if you have never seen me do any shoestringing, you might be wondering what's happening here. But yeah, it's a little bit difficult to explain what shoestringing is exactly. I did make a tutorial on shoestringing, so you should probably look that up. Now, I saw that I just messed up the station position a little bit, so I'm just going to redo the shoestring. Alright, let's see if we can get this to work. Alright, first I'm just going to check how many of these cars we can fit on the track, because I didn't pay attention earlier, so I kind of forgot. Okay, I think 20 cars are exactly made to fit on this ring. So now I'm going to try and split off the front car, make the front car move on this track, and put the rest of the train on the other track. Okay, I discovered another issue. It looks like our invisible track here is a little bit too low off the ground, because the cars are now just glitching into it. So that's something I'll have to fix. But other than that, I think the ride looks pretty good here. So yeah, I'm just going to move the track here, so then at least the shoestringing is complete. And then in the next episode I'll finish this ride. Alright, I think that looks pretty good, although it does behave a little bit weird here. Not sure what causes that. It might be doing that every time it goes around the corner. I'm not really sure, might also be the speed. Anyway, yeah, I'm just going to add some path under it to get rid of these supports, and then later we'll have to make the support structure for the ring under it. But yeah, it's getting quite late here, so that will be something for the next episode. Okay, I've now set the chain lift speed a little bit higher, so now the speed of the ride is more constant. So now it does this weird thing where the cars swing outward a little bit less frequently. So that's a good thing. Now, yeah, what I just need to do now in the next episode is probably change out this object with one that also has a top on it. I still need to make the support arms under it. Then I'll have to make the surroundings and a queue that looks like the actual queue. So yeah, still enough that can be done to make this ride look nicer. And of course, I also still have to modify the palette so that we keep the brown, but without the more yellowish olive color, because it will ruin the color of this ride. But yeah, so far I'm happy with the way it looks. I think it's shaping up quite nicely. Alright, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.